Okay, so let me just explain about counter arguments. So the purpose of a counter argument is to make your essay really strong by not only saying what your arguments are or your reasons are for the fact that your thesis statement is correct, okay? So that is really the goal of any essay is you put your thesis statement out there, you say, I believe such and such thing, and then the purpose of the essay is to convince your reader that your thesis statement is correct, okay? So that's what you're doing. Now, the counter argument is when you bring in the opposite side's argument. And the reason that you want to do this is so you can directly refute it. So it's like you try to guess a little bit what your opponent or what someone who's on the opposite side of you might say, and then you take that and you shoot it down. You say that it's not important or it's not true or it doesn't matter. Okay, it's a little bit of a tricky thing to do though, because if you don't word it exactly correctly, it can be really confusing for your reader, right? Because you've said that you believe, this one thing, and then all of a sudden you come in and say something else, the opposite side. So you really have to make sure that every sentence that you're saying of your counter argument starts with some kind of phrase like some people or some other people, these other people believe or whatever, and then you are making it clear that they are not correct, okay? You are correct, and you have to refute it. You have to say why. And the reason that this is so effective is because it allows you to control very carefully the argument. So it's kind of like if you're in an argument or in a discussion with someone who doesn't agree with you, and it's sort of like playing tennis or volleyball, okay? So the idea is that when you're playing tennis with someone, when you serve, the servers in professional tennis or high-level tennis, they almost always win the point. And why do they almost always win? Because they can control the ball. They control where the ball is, and then they smash it down, okay? That is very, very effective, and that's exactly what you're doing when you set up a counter argument. And that's different from if you're playing tennis or volleyball and your opponent hits to you and then you try to hit it back. It's much harder to hit it. It's sort of like you're not prepared. You're not ready to go. So the idea here is that you take what you think or you predict someone on the other side would say, and you say some people or other people or these kind of people believe this thing, and then you have to turn it, okay? You have to say however or but it's not true or it doesn't matter or it's not relevant, and you have to give the reason why. It's so important. You have to give the reason why. So usually you're going to have a counter argument paragraph. It's going to be one whole paragraph, and you would start it with your first sentence could be some people believe da, 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 and then what you would do is maybe give one sentence or maybe two at the maximum of what those other people believe, and then you turn it. Then you throw in your however, and then you spend a lot of sentences and a lot of time really just tearing down their argument, saying why their argument, why what those other people say doesn't make sense, it's not relevant, it's not important in this situation, and this is what is important. And what you say at the end of that paragraph actually really has to tie in with your thesis, okay? So that's where you bring it around to tie it in with your thesis statement. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. We're going to look at some examples next week, and you'll see some of that. So let me know if you have any questions about this. Also, this is definitely something that someone from PASS can help you with. Okay, I'll talk to you later.